researched this case, I didn't find as much information as they did. And they have interviews with people, and a couple things happened while they were doing their own research, and I thought it was just easiest to read it to you. I'll link it in the description box down below in case you want to follow along. But this is the case of Dena Dean. Dena Dean was your typical teenager on the honor roll at school, working part-time at a local fast food place and dating several boys. But one night, when she met one of those boys, she never came home. And just 2 days before Dena disappeared, Kari Coleman says she had hit her new boyfriend, Michael Converse, with shocking news. She told him that she was pregnant. A few days later, Dena tells some friends that Michael wants to meet up after work to discuss their future. Eyewitnesses say that they saw someone who looks like Dena in the parking lot having a heated conversation with two men in a red pickup truck. And Kari Coleman says that they knew that this Michael guy had a red truck. After the truck sped off, Dena was nowhere to be found. Dena had told the boy that she was pregnant on a Thursday night, and he wanted to talk to her when he got off Saturday, and she never came home, said Dena's mother, Diana Dean. Tulsa County Sheriff's investigators tracked down Michael Converse, looking for Dena and answers. But they're floored by what the 18-year-old and his father, Reverend Robert Converse, both have to say. They both kept saying Michael didn't even know Dena. Michael had never been out with Dena, and in fact, Michael Converse told investigators he was bowling at the time that Dena went missing, and his alibi was confirmed by sheriff deputies. So, if it wasn't Michael in that red pickup truck on the parking lot, where is Dena Dean? Investigators start to wonder if she was hauled off by a total stranger. Because of the location that she was at, they could not say that she hadn't been abducted by someone just traveling by, said Diana. Days pass and hopes of finding Dena alive fade. They came to us on Thursday night, I guess it was, and told us they weren't looking for Dena anymore. They were looking for a body, said Larry Dean. If Dena was still here, she would have contacted somebody. Still, deputies can't help but wonder if Dena's rumored pregnancy is somehow connected to her disappearance. So they go back to Michael and they ask him to take a polygraph test. They give him 2 lie detector tests and he flunks both of them, said Larry. At this point, investigators believe Michael Converse is lying. So the cops draw up a triangular search grid, pinpointing the last 3 places that Michael was seen on the night that Dena disappeared: the parking lot, the bowling alley, and his house. And they said, "We're going to look in that area to find Dena. She's there somewhere," said Larry. Tragically, detectives didn't have to search very long. In a remote area known as Lover's Lane, they find Dena's body. She'd been in a field decomposing for 6 days. Her body was so badly mutilated and decomposed that the medical examiner couldn't determine how she died. But there's one thing that the autopsy confirmed without a doubt. Dena Dean was not pregnant. She was just making it up. This was confirmed by Dena's friend, Kari Coleman. Why? I don't know. I wish I knew, Coleman said. Some friends previously known civilian cold case task force. I formed a task force of oh my gosh, I cannot read other people's words. I formed a task force of retired Tulsa policemen, FBI, DEA, ATF. I mean, a group of just outstanding people, said Mike Huff, coordinator of the Tulsa Cold Case Task Force. And they're not just any people volunteering. Even though they're retired, these are 22 of the best in the business with more than 1,000 years of experience between them. And please don't ever question their motivation. They are not paid for this. It's for the families, said investigator Doc Shannon. Now, the task force could be on the brink of giving Dena's family the answers that they've patiently been waiting for nearly 2 decades. 60 new witnesses paint a very vivid picture of what happened the night that Dena Dean went missing. How did she die? Well, obviously she got off from Arby's and she went to the Marvin's food store and waited for this young man to get off work, said Mike Huff. Michael Converse got off work at 10 o'clock that night. Investigators can now confirm that someone else showed up at the grocery store before Dena, Reverend Robert Converse. His father shows up about 9:40, said Mike. 20 minutes before she went missing, he showed up at that store. But why? That's a $64 question, said Huff. And it's what the task force has now uncovered about the Reverend's actions the morning after Dena went missing that has sounded the loudest alarms. The father showed up at the store wanting his son's time card for that night, clocking out that night. He also wanted the soft drink bottle if it was available in the trash can where his son ran a checkout lane. That time card showed the exact moment he clocked out of work, and the bottle, well, that's readily available DNA. Now, initially, Robert and Michael were persons of interest. Michael Converse said he did not meet Dena Dean after he got off work, and Robert said he didn't have any interaction with Dena Dean the evening she disappeared, said Doc Shannon. They just lied about the whole circumstance. They lied about seeing her, lied about a relationship. It's just amazing, said Mike Huff. Is it possible that one of them was the killer? Well, the answer may be in the autopsy report. There was one injury to Dena's face that investigators believe could solve the mystery. She had a broken mandible. It wasn't just a fracture, it was a broken jaw. Oklahoma's volunteer cold case task force claims it's sitting on a hotbed of explosive new evidence and inching closer to solving the 20-year mystery of what happened to 16-year-old Dena Dean. These 22 retired but highly skilled investigators have been chasing Dena Dean's killer, and now they're telling Crime Watch Daily that they have evidence and eyewitnesses to prove Dena's boyfriend Michael Converse, who she went to meet the night she disappeared, may have been involved. Did I say True Crime Daily? Crime Watch Daily. I'm a little late. The task force claims he asked her to meet him, but when she told him she was the task force claims he asked Dena to meet him in the parking lot once she told him she was carrying his baby. But the investigators say when Dena arrived to tell him she wasn't really pregnant, he wasn't there alone. The cold case task force claims his father, Minister Robert Converse, was also there, waiting. Now, they have both repeatedly maintained that they're innocent for the past 20 years. Their fingerprints were not found at the crime scene, but the task force claims there is a new way to look at old evidence, and now they believe that new technology could help find Dena's killer. The retired investigators rerun this old evidence, and one of the new tools is called familial DNA. And when they retest the DNA at the scene, they get a hit. It's not Michael or his father, but it is a member of the Converse family. Investigators witnesses who have said that the uncle was complicit in the abduction and death of Dena Dean. Crime Watch Daily tried to reach Stephen Converse for comment, but could not find him. Investigators say the old evidence could also reveal a whole new clue as to who dumped Dena in that field. They believe that retesting her clothes with brand new technology could reveal 20-year-old fingerprints. My mom is calling me. All three of the Converse men continue to maintain that they had nothing to do with Dena Dean's disappearance or her death. And this is why I included this article. But we, at Crime Watch Daily, wanted to give them the opportunity to tell their side of the story. Michael Converse didn't answer the door, so we headed to Minister Robert Converse's house. And as we turned onto his street, we were stopped dead in our tracks. While we were in Robert Converse's neighborhood to go to his home, down the street to talk to him about what he knows about Dena's murder, the sheriff's department interceded and asked us to retreat so that they could serve a search warrant. It turned out that shortly after our interview with the Cold Case Task Force, Tulsa County Sheriff's deputies headed to Robert Converse's house with brand new DNA search warrant. We've met with the DA. We are positioning ourselves to ready this for prosecution, said Mike Huff. So we are marching downfield. We're getting ourselves prepared for success. I feel really strongly that this is going to see the inside of a courtroom. For now, Diana and Larry Dean wait for the day they finally get justice for their little girl. I'm seeking justice and that's all, said Larry Dean. I just want to hear that judge say guilty. Then it's all gone. The pressure, the sadness, everything is over with. Yes, I'm still going to remember Dena. I'm still going to put flowers out at the cemetery. But that 20 years of fighting will be over. I am so sad for this family that this happened to them. I fully believe that Michael and Reverend Robert had something to do with her disappearance. I am sorry that this is a shorter case, but there really just was not a lot of info about it. But I thought that I would include it here for you guys as some extra. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time.